something.
Cool. So hi everyone. Sorry for the delay. My name is Ishan Gupta. So I'll be taking you through the SEM session today. Sorry for the delay. There were some power issues in my building. So right now I'm back. So to give you like a brief introduction. So I have like over 9+ years of experience in digital marketing and analytics. Currently working with Google as a lead account strategist. So I have experience of working on search campaigns, display campaigns, video campaigns, and I also dealt with a lot of analytics related stuff. So I think there are some 3 sessions planned. Today we are going to just focus largely on SEM, and then the next would be display and Google Analytics. Yes, Ashish, I'm going to share. I know you're very excited to see the screen, but let's start sharing the screen. Can you see my screen now, Ashish? So Vanchika, one request, since I'll be presenting most of the time, I won't be able to see the comments that are coming in the chat window, or if there's any disturbance in the session.
Sure,
So
sure.
if you,
I'll let you know in case there's any.
yeah, if in case there's anything, in case there are any questions, please call that out.
Sure. Just for everyone, in case there are any questions, please do put them in the Q&A section so that they can be segregated from the normal chat. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So the broader agenda for today's session is we'll discuss about SEM certification. So we want all of you to get SEM certified. We'll discuss what is the importance of it, what are the steps to do that, what is the test format, how many questions do you get, what is the time duration for this test, what do you need to read or what do you need to study to clear this test.
Ishan, we lost your voice. Um, Guys, let me just check. Maybe there's some issue. Yeah, I think we can hear you again.
Yeah, I think it again got lost. Do you know where was I? I missed out.
Just starting with the agenda. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So this was the agenda. I'll repeat it again in case this wasn't clear. So we'll go through what is the importance of certification. Why do you need to get SEM certified? What is the test format? Like how many questions? What is the time duration for this test? What are the modules that you need to go through in order to clear that test? I'll also quickly recap what are the important topics in SEM. And then finally, we have few minutes for your questions. Before I tell you what is the importance of certification, can you tell me like why do you think getting an SEM certified is important for an individual or for a company? And you can type your answers in the chat window. Like how do you think SEM certification would help you and why do you need to get this done? SEM is search engine marketing. Provides credibility to your learning. It gives you authority and authenticity as an SEM marketer. It is one more validation step. Perfect. What else? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. It is an important driver for marketing campaign of any type. Perfect. I think most of you are right. And these are the reasons that I have listed. One, Google Ads is very complicated and tough to navigate for any new PPC marketers. So if you are Google Ads SEM certified, like you said, it gives certain credibility that you understand this complex tool. Second, as you all know, Google is the most popular search network on the web right now. Overall, 90 to 95% of the web searches go through Google. So if you understand SEM, which is actually a bread and butter for Google, you are, let's say, a master of digital marketing. So you need to be SEM certified. Third, like most of you said, it provides social proof and credibility. So you would see a lot of companies or PPC agencies advertising on their websites that yes, the people or their individuals are SEM or display or social or video certified by Google. They can help you build your resume. And finally, if you're not an individual, you're running your own PPC agency or a company, by clearing certification, you can get a Google Partner Badge, which also helps you in getting more clients. And lastly, the benefit which I've got listed here, it is free. You need not spend any extra money. They also give you the modules to study so that which can help you in preparing for the test. So it's all free. You can get certified, add it to your resumes, add it to your LinkedIn profiles. So what is the test format? So before you write a test, they give you something called as knowledge check assessment, which is like 21 questions, and the passing marks is 80%. This is not certification, but this basically helps you in understanding what your understanding of the concepts is. So if you feel that you're confident enough to go for the final test or not, once you go through the knowledge check assessment, you can get an understanding of what kind of questions will be asked in the final test. If you do not clear knowledge check assessment, you can go through their content. So there's like a 2.5 hour content on SEM that is again available free of cost. You can go through it. You get an understanding what are the modules that you need to cover in order to clear this test. And finally, you appear for the Google Ads search assessment. In this assessment, there are like 50 questions and you get a time limit of 75 minutes. Passing marks is 80%. So basically, you have to clear 40 questions. It's better now you have to go through 50 questions. I know when I did it for the first time, there used to be 100 questions, which you have to finish in 100 minutes. So that time it was like one question per minute. But now we have sufficient time, we have lesser number of questions. Okay, so you should be able to clear it. And finally, when you go through all these steps, you get certificate. So like for example, I did it. So I got congratulations, Ishan, your Google Ads Search certified. The validity of this certificate is like 1 year. So if you give an exam, let's say today, which is Feb 16, the certificate would be valid till Feb 16, 2021. The best part, like I said before, you can directly add these certificates into your LinkedIn profile, in your resumes. You also get a soft copy of the certificate in your email box, right? So on the right hand side, you can see I have listed down a few of the certificates that I have done. For example, display certification, search certification, as well as the video certification. If you look very closely, my video certification is expired, so I need to do it again. Okay. Now, a lot of you might have this question that why 1 year? And the reason is digital marketing space is very dynamic. There are changes in the products that happen like every month or every 2 months. So to keep yourself updated, it is always suggested that you keep doing these certifications. Okay. And for external, it is 1 year. As an internal Googler or as an employee of Google, we have to do it like every 6 months because the product changes that fast. Now, to quickly help you, like how do you navigate towards these certifications? It's very simple. You just need to type Google Ads certification on Google homepage. Click on the first link, which is about the Google Ads certification. This will tell you why Google Ads certification is important, what are the benefits, how do you need to go about doing it. Here you can
Sorry that I'm interrupting you. Your voice is cracking a bit.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I mean, it starts cracking in between a bit. So,
Yeah, it's so fine. Do you want me to repeat anything?
no, nothing.
Okay, cool. So like I said, if you go to the Google search page and if you type Google Ads certification, just click on the first link, which is about the Google Ads certification. So you land here. It talks about the benefit of certifications and what is the process for doing it. And it also talks about what are different available certifications. So you have certification available for Google Ads search, display, video, and shopping. So today we're going to focus on search certifications like you click on this.
I'm sorry, but it's cracking a lot right now. People are unable to understand.
Okay, is it still not clear?
I'm not sure when you start taking longer sentences, then it starts cracking. So I'll let you know probably when you start talking.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, once you land on that page, and if you click on the search certification link, you land somewhere here. Okay. Now here there are three components like we discussed. First is your knowledge check assessment, which basically helps you in understanding where you stand today as far as your SEM knowledge is concerned. So like I cleared it on 9th of February, so I have like 85%. So there you get like 21 questions and the passing criteria is 80%. Next, it's up to you if you want, this is optional. Like you want to go through each of these modules, like grow your business with Google Ads, explore the value of Google search, what are Google Ads auction, the ads, extensions, automation, audiences, or you directly want to give the final certification. Now, if you click on the final certification, I've done it, so I won't be able to do it again. But let's say if you had not done it, this is something looks like this. So you'll be given 50 questions, 75 minutes, and again you have to clear 80%. So you need to get 40 questions right. Like in my case, I got one question wrong, so my assessment was 98%, but the passing marks is 80%. Perfect. And these are the modules that we need to focus on in case we need to clear this certification. Any questions so far? I know the voice was cracking a bit in between, but are there any questions or was there something that you didn't follow as far as certification is concerned? All good? Can we go through the content first? I mean, we're going to go through the content now. If we clear the optional ones, are there more certifications related to those? No, so these are the certifications that you have. The optional is only the content. So let's say if you go through the content, if you go through the modules, like reading up the content is optional. Clearing the certification is mandatory. So you can say complete required, like you can see here. Like I didn't read through the content, you can see, I only read, let's say the last part because for me it's like a daily bread and butter. So I didn't read it. I just directly appeared for the test. Yes, Ashish. So if you're not able to clear in the first attempt, you can re-attempt, but there should be a gap of at least 1 day before you try to attempt it again. Before taking the practice assessment, I mean the knowledge check assessment. See, knowledge check assessment is optional. It is only for you to understand what your understanding of the concepts is. It is not mandatory, but I would suggest you guys to do it so that you understand what are the modules that you need to focus on. It is optional. There are no related certifications for this. Once you're done with knowledge check, you directly appear for the final certification. And you can try as many number of times. There is no restriction. Just ensure that there is a gap of at least one day before you try to attempt it again. But it's you go through all the modules and then make an attempt. And do it in one sitting. That would be another advice, because let's say if you were attempting it and then you close the window, then you'll have to attempt it again. All your responses would be lost. So it's always suggested that you do it in one sitting. You sit down for 75 minutes, complete the test, and then get off. Do not close the window in between. Do not leave the certification in between. How difficult is it? Now that is depends on an individual, Rumpa. I don't find it very difficult if you know your concepts really well. But again, that depends on individual to individual. Okay, let me check the concepts before we jump. So I'll also discuss the modules and the content and what is important from the certification point of view. But one question to all of you. How many ad slots are there on a Google search page? Let's say if I'm looking for a digital marketing course, and you see I get all these ads from DSIM, Exceed, Udemy, Digital Vidya. How many ad slots are there on the Google search page? Three, five. Preeti Gandhi, you said three, but if you look at this, we can already see four here. Five, 8 to 20. Have you really seen 8 to 20 ads? From the result, it appears as four slots. 5 to 6. 7. So Shruti, you are right. We have like 7 ad slots on the Google search page. 4 on the top and 3 on the bottom. If you can see here. So you see 3 ads below the organic results and 4 ads on the top. Vanchika, something for you to take back to your upgrad team. When I type in digital marketing course, I don't see upgrades ad.
Sure, I will definitely take it back.
Yeah, cool. No, Bharat, the slots were not increased recently. They have always been 7. So 4 on the top, 3 below. If you were looking for any thing which is specific to retail, let's say mobile phones, you might also see different ads, but these are called shopping ads. And these are different from search ads. So you have like 7 ad slots per search, but then you also have different shopping slots. Now, in a previous query, we saw different advertisers appearing on the same query. How do you think the ad rank is decided? Like, how do you think Udemy would come on the third slot and Digital Vidya on the fourth slot? What is the formula for the ad rank, if anyone can tell me? Abhiram will come to your question, but now, right now, it's my question. So, what is the formula for ad rank? So, Rumpa, Akshay, you're right. It is bid into quality score. So, bids into quality score. And what are the components of quality score? CTR, relevance, and landing page experience. Perfect. All of you know your concepts. So I think for you guys, clearing certification should not be very difficult. Cool. Okay. I know someone had a question regarding, but why would someone like to display ads at the bottom of the page? Now, no one wants to display their ads at the bottom of the page, to be honest. But if let's say if your ad rank is poor than the other competitors, your ads are bound to be displayed at the bottom. So as an advertiser, you should always try to create relevant ads so that you appear on the top of the page. Right? So these examples, these advertisers like Simply Learn, Digital Ready, or AAFT, even though their ads are relevant, they have digital marketing course in their headline and the description lines. It's just that their bids might be low, and that's the reason they're appearing at the bottom of the page. So the chances of their ads getting clicked are also very low. But this is probably the bid that they can, that is the max bid that they can afford. So that is the reason they're appearing at the bottom of the page. Got it? Any questions? Any further questions on certification? Okay, so I assume there are no questions. Now, if you look at this content for certification, it largely revolves around 5 A's, and anything that you do for SEM is also dealing with 5 A's. The first that you see over here, I'll give you a hint. It is called as auction. Can anyone tell me what are the 4 other A's of SEM or search engine marketing? What are the 4 other A's? Any question dealing with SEM, you can answer within these 5 A's. First is auction. What do you think are the other 4 A's? Okay, meanwhile, I'll answer Akshay's question. Sequence in which we should go for these certifications. I mean, there's no sequence. It is, you have like different products and you have to do each of these product certifications. So it's up to you, like whatever product you're comfortable with, you can start with that certification. If you're comfortable more with display or video, start with display video. But SEM is largely important because that is where majority of the revenue of the advertisers flows. So it's always better to get an SEM certified. So Udit says audience acquisition, ad rank, ad extensions, audience, ad extension. Audience is right. The others are not right. Ad rank we've already covered in auction, Udit. So that I think something that we've already covered off. So we've got 2 right now. One is your audience and second is your auction. What are the other 3 A's? Attribution, perfect. Ad campaigns, ads is right. AdWords, no. The name of the AdWords is now changed to Google Ads. So we've got audience, auction, attribution, ads in the final. The 5th is automation. And we'll cover all these 5 A's in the next 1 hour. Is the voice still cracking? Because Padma Shri says the voice is cracking. Is everyone else able to hear properly? Voice good, perfect.
Voice is coming okay. I think
Perfect.
Padmashri, please try put on your earphones. That will help.
Okay, Harish says, do we get job in Google if we get certification? Harish, I cannot comment on that. It's more than certification. It's also how you answer those questions in the interviews that would be helpful. It might get you a call, but then getting a job is a whole different thing. Cool. So let's move on to those 5 ways now. So if you can see my screen. So like you rightly said, the 5 A's of SEM are audience, ads, auction, automation, and attributions. So we'll start off with ads. So simply saying like you need to ensure that your ads are very relevant to the queries that people are typing. Ensure that you're offering the best possible customer experience. So let's say if I type in a query like flower shops, that means I'm looking for a flower shop. And this is the kind of ad copy that I see, which is somewhat relevant. It gives a headline and a description line. Always remember what are the different components of an ad copy. So you have headline, you have description line, and you have extensions. Let's say I see this ad by Maruti car. It is okay, but it doesn't have a lot of information. So it is not very relevant to what I was looking for. Okay, because it is showing me Maruti Suzuki value. It doesn't have a lot of extensions. I don't know where the nearest Maruti store is. So it is always advisable that you have ads, you have good descriptions, you have good headlines, good extensions. And compare it with this ad. When I'm typing for buy Maruti car, I see a good headline, I see a good description line. I know what is the nearest center wherein I can walk in, and look at the showroom. I know what is their phone number. They've also described what kind of cars do they store. So they are hatchback, compact, SUV, sedan. They have option of me booking a showroom visit directly. I can also see their brochure by saying ebook now. Right? So this is like a good ad copy. So always remember the good components or the best practices have great headlines, great description lines, have multiple extensions, because like we discussed, there are very limited slots on the Google search page. If you have more extensions, your ads become relevant. You occupy more space on the Google search page. It's all about real estate. If you have a better search page, you get better visibility. The chances of your ads getting clicked are very high in that case. Just to quickly remind you of the kind of account structure that we have in Google Ads, you first have an account. Within the account, you create a campaign. Within campaign, you create multiple ad groups. And within a single ad group, you will have a keywords and ads. For example, if it was Mintra's account, if they want to promote their apparel segment, they might have a campaign targeting apparels. Within that campaign, they can have ad groups, either divided on the basis of gender, say men, women, or they could have done it on the basis of apparel type. Within the ad group for women and men, they would have separate keywords and ads targeting that particular segment. To revise, the best practices that you need to follow when you're creating any ads is you need to have 3 to 5 ads per ad group. And remember, there would be like 1 or 2 questions around this when you're doing the certifications. So please make a note of it. You need to have 3 to 5 ads per ad group. You need to choose optimize ad rotation for clicks for conversions. So this is an ad rotation setting. What it means is, let's say once you have 3 ads in an ad group, if you choose optimize, the Google Ads system or the machine learning will always ensure, or they will always display the best performing ad. So whichever ad has the best CTR or it is getting you maximum clicks or conversions, that ad would be displayed. If you do not choose optimize, the next option is rotate indefinitely, which means if your ad group has 3 ads, if you choose rotate indefinitely, each of the ad would be displayed to a user 33% of the time. Which means if there is a poor ad copy and that gets displayed to your potential customer, just because the ad was poor, your user would not convert. So the suggestion is always to use optimize so that your best ad is shown to the potential customer. And lastly, use at least 3 extensions for each campaign or an ad group. Okay. And in Google language, this is called creative excellence. Remember it, 3 to 5 headlines or 3 to 5 ads per ad group using optimized rotation and at least 3 extensions per campaign or an ad group. Now, different ads appeal to different people. And that's the reason we always say that you need to have more than one ad. That's the reason we suggest that you need to have 3 to 5 ads per ad group. And the reason is because every user is different. They're typing queries at different times on different devices from different locations. So your ads need to be tailored to that particular user, right? So you need to show the right message to the right person. So for example, and this is something that can be achieved by using.
Sorry, your voice is cracking again.
Is it better now?
Wouldn't know. I mean, really okay with small words, but when you start talking, it starts breaking. It was fine in
Is it
initial
still a
phase.
problem?
Um, right now it sounds okay. I'll let you know.
Sure. Do you want me to repeat the previous part?
Yeah,
Okay. Here.
yeah. I think this is okay.
Okay, I'll repeat it again.
Sure.
When it comes to the first A, which is ads, the best practice is to have at least 3 to 5 ads per ad group using optimized ad rotation and at least 3 extensions per ad group per campaign. Remember this because you'll have a few questions around this on the certification. And why do we suggest 3 to 5 ads per ad group? The thing is, different ads would appeal to different people. So as a user, I might like a certain ad and you might like a very different ad. Moreover, I sitting out in Hyderabad would look at things very differently from, let's say, Vanchika sitting out in Mumbai. The things that I'm looking for might be available locally. So the ads which are relevant for Hyderabad would be relevant for me, right? So you need to show the right message to the right person. And there is something called ad customizers, which helps you in doing that. It can customize your ads at scale. This is your device, time, location. So for example, if there is a retailer who's running a sale, right? They can dynamically change the discount percentage and the coupon code and the values depending on who is searching and what product is being searched. So for example, if I was doing this search on a Monday from my laptop, they might show me 20% off. But let's say if I was doing this search on a Saturday or a Sunday, there might not be any off during those days. They might replace this discount ad with a very different ad. And all of this can be done using ad customizers and if functions within the Google Ads interface. So remember the word ad customizers, it helps you in tailoring your ad copies. The other very relevant example would be, let's say if there is a hotel chain, let's say Marriott, and they are available and they have hotels across different cities. If I'm sitting out in Hyderabad searching for a Marriott hotel, so they might show me the prices that they have in Hyderabad with the number of rooms that they have, what are the charges per night. On the other hand, if you sitting out in Mumbai are searching for Marriott hotels, they might show you the Mumbai relevant details. So depending on where you are searching from, or in fact, where you are searching for. So for example, if my query was Marriott in Mumbai, even though I was sitting in Hyderabad, they realize that I'm searching for Mumbai hotels. So their ads would be targeting Mumbai prices and the number of hotels that they have in Mumbai. So all of this information can dynamically be changed depending on where you are searching from, what device are you using for searching, and what audience are you a part of. So for example, let's say if I am an existing customer of Flipkart and I haven't shopped for a while, they might show me an ad giving me like let's say a 30% off. Whereas if I'm a new user, I'm searching for a very same product, the ad copy that they would show me would be that for free shipping on your first order, because they know that this audience or this user is coming or seeing my ad for the first time. Okay, so if functions ad customizers, they help you in tailoring your message. The other new concept that has recently come in from Google in terms of the ad copies is RSA. So expect a few questions around RSA, which is responsive search ads. Traditionally, we've always had expanded text ads wherein the advertisers used to write their ad copies in terms of headlines and description lines. RSA relatively is a new concept, wherein if you are an advertiser, you submit, let's say, 3 to 15 headlines to the Google Ad system and 2 to 4 description lines. And based on customer query, the final ad copy that is displayed on the Google search page is a mix and match of these headlines and description lines. The relevance of this possible ad combination is taken care of by the system. So the machine learning does that. But your job of creating static ad copies and going with every ad group goes away with this concept. You just need to submit a few headlines and description lines. And depending on what the user query is, they would be mixed and matched, and the final ad combination would be served to the user. So this is how the responsive search ads work. And this is a relatively new concept. You would also find this as a part of your module. So expect 1 or 2 questions around it in your search certification. Before I move on to the second A, which is options, do we have any questions on ads? Abhiram, I missed things that were supposed to be noted. Okay, I'll repeat it for your benefit. Note down what are the best practices for creative excellence with 3 to 5 ads per ad group, optimize ad rotation setting, and 3+ extensions. Read up more on ad customers, and finally on the responsive search ads. The 3 things. Are you going to share this PPT? Yes, I can share this PPT post this call. Any other question in the ad segment before we move on to the options? No. So let's start off with the options. So as an advertiser, when we talk about options, your objective is to gain maximum presence. Like I know one of you said that what is the benefit of coming below the organic results? So even to break through that, and even if to get your ad appear on those 7 slots, you need to participate in the auctions. You need to win the auctions even to get in those 7 slots. right? So as an advertiser, you would want to maximize the reach of your ads. And the reason is 3.5 billion searches happen on Google each day. And let's say even if 1% or 2% of it is relevant for your business, as an advertiser, you would want to showcase your ads on those queries. There's something called as an impression share in the Google ad system. So if let's say your impression share is 12%, that means if 100 times people search for a product which was relevant for your business, your ad appeared only 12% of that. Your ad did not appear for the rest 88%. Now, it could either be because you had a low ad rank or your budget was exhausted. Budget is again something that you can fix. You can put in more money in case you have. Now, ad rank is something that we need to look at. Okay, so how do you ensure that you are present when the right customer is searching for your product? So we clearly discussed this before.
I'm sorry, Shan, I'm interrupting you. So can you please launch a mid-session feedback poll right now?
Now, I'll let you know. Let's do this in the end.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Perfect. So we rightly discussed before, which is your ad rank is your CPC built into quality score. Right? So ad rank is CPC built into quality score. So if your bids are high, if your quality score is great, your ad rank is bound to be high. So for example, so let's say we have an SEM auction wherein someone is searching for cheapest Bali tour packages. Now there are two advertisers, Neha and Peter, advertising their company on the same query. Neha is bidding 3 rupees, the quality score is 10 on 10. Peter is bidding higher, he's bidding 5 rupees on that keyword. His quality score is 5 on 10. Now, ad rank for Neha is 30, whereas ad rank for Peter is 25. Which means even though Neha was bidding lesser, she was only bidding 3 rupees, but just because her ad was very relevant, her ad rank is higher. Which means her ad would have a better position than the ad of Peter. So even though she was bidding less, she ended up winning that auction. Okay, so always remember, your ad rank or auctions are governed by bid and quality score. Quality score, like we discussed before, has 3 components: expected CTR, ad relevance, and landing page experience. Now, this is the example that I took from one of the cases that I've worked before. In this case, if you see, this advertiser is largely struggling with his landing page experience. Right? The landing page experience, 0% is below average. Like none of the keywords have a good landing page experience, which means the bounce rate would be very high. People are landing on that page, but they're not finding any relevant stuff. So they're bouncing off. The ad relevance is also not very great. Like only 35% of the keywords have above average ad relevance. So this person or this advertiser definitely needs to improve ad relevance and landing page experience to overall improve the quality score. Got it? And I've explained it here. Ad relevance, you can write stronger ads, better ads, use more automation in ads, add customizing the functions to tailor your ad copies to the audience, device, and time as and when needed. Another thing, there is something called as an auction insights report in the Google Ads platform, which also helps you in understanding how many times are you appearing on certain queries and how many times are your competitors appearing on those queries. So let's say in this case, I have hidden the name of the competitors here, so I changed them from competitor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in a real life scenario, you would be able to see the competitor names as well. So this is something that I took from the upgrades account. So their impression share on a certain query was 65%, and the strongest competitor, which in this case is competitor 2, it had an impression share of 23%. So that means they were leading those auctions. Okay, overlap rate tells you how many times did they appear in those auctions together. position above rate tells you like how many times did the advertiser, the other competitor, had a better position. Absolute top of page tells you how many times did the competitor had first position. Absolute top of page means the first position, whereas top of page means any position between those 1 to 4, right? So this auction insights report also helps you in understanding where you are when you compare yourself against your competitors. This comes in very handy when you're doing any competitor analysis. So let's say recently there was a Samsung launch and I was working with a few advertisers wherein they constantly look for these insights, like how are my competitors doing? Am I appearing above or below them? What should I do in case I want to appear above them? Should I increase my bids? Should I improve my relevance? What can I do to improve my bids? What are the right bids for those keywords? So those are the kind of insights that you can get from the auction insights report. Before we move on to the audience, any questions in the options segment? I'm assuming the question, Devraj, that you had is this across India or across the globe was around the number of searches that was across the globe. Are there any limits to the number of ad submissions? No, there is no limit to the number of ad submissions. Rumpa, can you please once again go through the ad relevance page? How to improve ad relevance? Okay, let's take a minute. Looking for a relevant example. Actually, let me take an account once again. So this, I think, was some campaign that was run by the previous batches. Yeah. Yeah, so if you look at this, so this person created this ad which says 7 jobs that are hot right now, upgrade blog, learn with upgrade. And it is taking to a page which is relevant, which is 7 jobs that didn't exist but are hot right now. Right? Keywords that we have here, it says jobs, latest jobs, hot jobs, new jobs, graduate careers, product designer. Now, if you look at this particular campaign, Rumpa, only the first, let's say, 3 or 4 keywords are relevant. Okay, because you have terms like jobs in your ad copy, you have terms like jobs in your landing page. But if you look at the terms like graduate careers, product designer, big data, cloud technology, big data analyst, these terms have no mention in the headline or the description of the ad copy that we just saw, right? So if let's say I search for product designer on a Google search page, and these are the kind of ads that I have as an advertiser, my ads would not be relevant to that query. Even though I have that added as a keyword, but that keyword has no relevance to my landing page. It has no relevance to the ad copy that I have. So my ad relevance is extremely poor in this case. So until unless I have very high bids so that I can overpower the other competitors' ad rank, my ads would not be displayed. So this is what I meant when I said ad relevance. So if your ads is talking about jobs, ensure that you have jobs or very similar terms as your keywords in your ad copies. If you want to talk about product designers, then have separate ads and separate keywords for them. so that your ads are relevant to what people are looking for. If anyone is looking for product designer and if your ads get displayed, it is not relevant, they won't click it. So your quality score would be impacted, your CTR would be impacted, your relevance is impacted. You had a slide on that. Yeah, let me go back. Yeah. So I had this slide. Basically, this was performance from one of the accounts. And it is basically the distribution of keywords against each of the components of quality score. So quality score has three components: expected CTR, ad relevance, and landing page experience. And within these three components, there are further three segments: average, above average, and below average. In this, if you look at this, 30% of the keywords had below average ad relevance. That means you can go back, look at the keywords which had below average ad relevance, and fix that issue. So, like I showed you the example in that particular case, product designer or big data or data scientist would not have relevant ad associated with it. So ensure that you include those keywords in the ad copies, in the headlines as well as the description lines to make them more relevant. Is it clear now? Vishwajit, how to measure or know the landing page experience? Like I showed you in this slide, right? So if you go into the account, you can see what percentage of keywords have below average landing page experience. So that means the ad associated with that keyword is taking you to a page which is not relevant to that ad copy. Okay, like in the example that I gave, if someone was looking for product designer and your ads get displayed which says 7 jobs that are hot right now. Let's say as a user, I click on it, I land on this page which says 7 jobs that didn't exist but are hot right now. It didn't mention, let's say, product designer, which means I would just close this link after this. So my landing page experience would be poor for that user. Okay, so for every keyword, you can see the quality of the components, and that would tell you how your landing page experience is. If those keywords are not included, change them, change their final URLs. That would improve your overall landing page experience. Abhiram says, in this case, if you pause irrelevant keywords, will it impact quality score? Your quality score is calculated for every keyword. So if you pause the terms or which have poor quality score keywords, there is no harm in doing that. Or the other option is, for those terms which have poor quality score, examine why there is a poor quality score. Is it because of landing page? Is it because of ad relevance? Is it because of CTR? And then work on these three components individually. Any other questions? No? Yes, no, maybe. Are there any best practices on landing pages? Yes, there are. Best practices that are there are like your landing page should be able to load faster. They should have good content because Google automatically scrapes your websites. The web crawler do that, and that also helps you in appearing on those organic listings. So if you have good content on your landing pages, the chances are that your pages would be more relevant. So ensure all those best practices. But there are like various best practices. I would suggest you read up on them. Anyway, we can do hands-on on these concepts. Any sandbox that Google offers for learning. I'm not aware of any sandbox that is offered. but I'm sure you would have access to the upgrades like project account, all of you. If not, then I would suggest you get in touch with Vanchika and the team later on, and they should get you the access of the test account. What minimum number of keywords should one use in an ad? There is no minimum limit or no maximum limit. Ideally, we do not suggest any advertiser to have like more than 10 keywords in an ad group. So I've seen advertisers using between like 1 to 10 keywords per ad. Because the more number of keywords you have, it becomes very difficult to have those relevant ad copies. So I've seen most of the advertisers restricting them to like 1 to 10. Any other questions? No? Then I'll quickly go to the next concept, which is audience. Audience is simply like who are you targeting for that campaign? Who are your target customers for that campaign, and are you engaging with the right people? If you all remember, this is the marketing funnel that we always have. So you have an awareness phase, you have a consideration phase, then there is action, and then there is loyalty. Awareness is, let's say, if I'm launching a new product, I'm launching a very new bicycle brand. Awareness is that I'm trying to create awareness for that particular product. So I have like largest addressable audience. I don't know who my users would be, so I might go creating awareness in the sense that I might target people who are bicycle enthusiasts. So those affinity audiences would be my first audiences to target. Commercial consideration phases when people start considering your product, they have some awareness, so they are either comparing your product with others or they're looking out for that product. So in that case, it is largely in-market audiences. People have some commercial intent to buy your product. Third, people who have commercial intent, they have landed on your website and they're ready to take action, or they've already made a purchase. So they landed on your website, they made a purchase. These are largely remarketing audiences. And finally, loyalty. So people who have made a purchase and now you're trying to re-engage with them. Let's say if someone purchased this new bicycle from you, and now you're going back to them to sell accessories or any other related stuff. So this is the loyalty phase. When customers have already purchased, now as an advertiser, you want to re-engage with those customers. For each of these marketing funnels, you have different audience propositions available from brands. For awareness, you can target basis demographics, lifestyle, affinity, gender, family status. For consideration phase, you have in-market audiences, which means people who are in the market to buy that product, they're considering it. Action, like I said, RLSA or remarketing audiences. And loyalty would be your customer match or CRM based audiences. To give you a quick example, let's say if Make My Trip in an awareness phase, it would like to target people who love to travel and create memories. In the consideration phase, they would like to target people who are thinking about their travel. So that means they are typing in queries like trips to Bali or trips to Indonesia, or trips to Japan. Action is someone who has already landed on the Make My Trip website and they left the transaction in between itself. And loyalty would be people who have already made 2+ trips or 3+ trips as per the definition of what the definition of loyalty is. They've already made these transactions and now they're reaching out to them to make another transaction. Let's say if you have to do this exercise for another business or Spotify, who launched their music streaming services in India sometime back, how would you define each of these audience segments? Yeah, because I asked a question, Abhinam, like how would you define those audiences, awareness, consideration, purchase, and loyalty for a brand like Spotify? Like how we saw it for the Make My Trip example. Let's say if you have to do it for Spotify, how will you do it? Rumpa awareness, all those who like to listen to music, perfect. What would be consideration? Looking to buy, subscribe, perfect. Right. Okay. I think most of you got the concepts right. So awareness is something that who likes listening to music, so music lovers could be one segment. Consideration is people who are comparing, let's say, subscription packages between, let's say, Spotify versus Ghana music or Spotify versus Ghana. Action is people who have landed on Spotify and they've made the purchase or they've subscribed to it. And loyalty is once they've done it, let's say they're nearing the contract expiry, Spotify is reaching out to them to tell them that they need to renew their contract or they need to renew their subscription. Right? Again, just a revision, what are the different audiences available across each of these marketing channels? And again, this you would find a lot of questions in the certification around this. Like what are the kind of audiences available for awareness phase? What are the audiences available for consideration phase, for action, and for loyalty? Affinity, demographics, awareness phase, consideration.
You might want to repeat, your voice is cracking a lot.
Is it better now?
Yeah, from the Spotify part actually, it sounds a lot over there.
From here again?
Yeah.
Okay. I think most of you got it right when I was reading through the comments that what should be the audience strategy. So for awareness, it would be music lovers. For consideration, people who are in market looking for music subscriptions. Let's say people typing in queries like Spotify versus Ghana or Spotify versus Ghana. Third, action, people who have already subscribed or people who are looking to complete the purchase on Spotify. And loyalty, people who have been the existing customers, but let's say their contract or subscription is nearing the expiry. So Spotify would want to re-engage with them. Clear? But remember this, summarizing it again for audiences, this you will get like at least 2 to 3 questions around this on the SEM certification. For awareness phase, your audiences available are affinity audiences and detailed demographics. For consideration, it is your in-market audience. For action, it is your remarketing audiences, like someone who have abandoned the basket, someone who's landed on your products, viewed your product pages. And loyalty is your customer match audiences. You remember these different audience types. Any other question before we jump on to attribution? Varun, do you have any questions? Does anyone have any question on the audience part? None as of now. Shraddha, last slide. What on the last slide? Paid subscriber would come under loyalty phase. Okay, I'll repeat the funnel for you: awareness, consideration, action, and loyalty. When an advertiser is looking for awareness, their whole goal of ad is to drive maximum impressions. That means a lot of people should see their ads. So they go with very broad audience targeting. So for example, they would go for demographics based targeting or interest based targeting. So interest based targeting could be either lifestyle or affinity. In consideration, the advertiser would want people to click on those ads and come on their website. So in that case, they would be looking for people who are already in the market looking for very similar product offering. So that means the ideal audience to target in this case is in market, and the goal is to drive maximum clicks. So from awareness, wherein the goal was impressions, consideration, it would be clicks. Action, the goal would be conversion or a revenue. So here the audience that they would be looking to target would be people who are already aware of the brand, people who have visited product pages, they have added certain products in their cart but not made the final purchase. So they're looking to drive the action out of those customers. So that is the reason it is called action phase. And the objective here is to drive sale, which is conversions, or drive most revenue. And the final stage is once people have taken action, how do we ensure that there is a loyalty? How do we re-engage with those segments? So that is the reason we're able to use customer match. Customer match is nothing but using your own CRM data to re-engage with the existing users. When we jump onto automation, you also have clear strategies across each of these marketing funnels. And we look into them. I'll now move on to attribution. So attribution is basically how to ensure that each touch point in a purchase cycle is valued. So for example, if I was looking to buy a new laptop and then I searched for it online, I typed in a query buy laptop, I landed on, let's say, a Flipkart website. I didn't make a purchase. Next day, Flipkart sent me an email saying that you didn't complete your purchase. So I clicked on the email link, landed on their website, didn't make a purchase again. Third day, I decided that yes, Flipkart is offering me the best laptop deal. So I directly went on to the Flipkart website, saw that I had already added the product in the cart. I made the final purchase. In this case, if we go by the traditional attribution methodology, Flipkart would end up giving the entire credit of this sale to organic. By organic, I mean someone directly typed their website name and made the purchase. So neither email nor the search campaign would get any credit for that sale. Which means the next time Flipkart decides to invest in their digital marketing channel, they might not invest in search or an email thinking that they're not driving any sale. Come to think of it, this decision could go wrong in the sense that search or email was a channel which was bringing people onto their website. Had I not searched about it, I would have never known that this laptop was being sold at this price on Flipkart website. That means that channel was relevant. But if I only use last click model, which is what is used in the industry in a lot of ways, I would have never credited that sales value to that particular channel. So that is the reason attribution becomes extremely relevant. Right? So for example, again, using a different example, while users often click on multiple ads before they convert, advertisers usually credit only the last click. Right? So in case of last click, the entire credit goes to Nexus 9 tablet in this case. Whereas on the other hand, data-driven attribution determine what is the value of each of this touch point, and then the exact credit is given. So for example, in this case, if the channel was A, B, C, the conversion rate was 3%. If the channel was B, C, the conversion rate was only 2%. That means 1% of the conversion uplift came from channel A. Right? So the right credit is distributed. So instead of the last channel getting 100% of the credit, let's say in a data given, you might have 60-20-20. Again, this is something that I took from the attribution report from the current accounts. So here you can see like the kind of parts that people use: mobile, desktop, mobile, desktop, mobile. So the different parts and what are the conversions based across each of the parts. We cannot always go ahead with the last click one because then the conversion attribution would not be right. Translating it to a like a real life example, let's say if we talk about football, there are multiple players on the field, but there's only one person who ends up scoring that goal. Now, if the team management thinks, based on last click, that that was the only person who is contributing to that goal and the rest of the team has no relevance to it, should they remove rest 10 players and only go ahead with the one player? No, because everyone has some role to play. So data-driven attribution helps you in deciding what credit should be attributed to any channel in the path to purchase. Yeah, there are multiple other attribution models: first click, last click, like equal click. So all those are available. First click gives the entire credit to the first channel. Last click gives the entire click to the last channel. There are time decay models. There are data-driven models which distribute credit based on the relevance. And there are some linear model which gives equal credit to all the channels involved. This is another example. When let's say if you have generic campaigns or brand campaigns, generics are on 80% of the conversion paths, but last click on only 12% of the paths. So if you were using a last click model, only 12% of the sales would be attributed to generic campaigns. By generic here, I means buy laptops, whereas buy laptops on Flipkart would be a brand campaign. Clear? Any questions on attribution before we move on to the final segment, which is automation? Any questions on attribution? No? How would you suggest I proceed with attribution for B2B? Start with linear. I would not suggest that you start with linear, Suraj, in this case. What I would suggest you is go into your attribution reports and identify if people are using multiple channels to visit your website or for making a purchase. Like in this case, in this example, people were using multiple devices. You might have a business wherein, let's say, people are only using one device. So in those cases, you might not even need data-driven attribution or a linear model. Go and check your attribution reports in the Google Ads interface. Only if you see that there are two plus channels or 3+ channels that are being used by people, then go ahead with the data-driven attribution models or linear models or any other model. Long sales cycle, definitely data-driven attribution becomes helpful because for B2B, a lot of sales also happen through calls. So those might not get recorded or those might not get credited when you're using very last click models. So it's important that you take every channel into account. Any other questions? No? Okay. So we'll go with automation, the final aim. Now, Google Ads is a complex platform and there are so many things to do. Some of the things that you can manage automatically so that you need not invest your time in doing very operational jobs and you spend more time on strategy. RSA is one such thing which we already started, which was it can help you in automating or mixing and matching creatives. There is another one which is instead of you sitting and deciding bids, because options are very dynamic, they change every second, so you need to sit and change bids every minute. Why don't you let the system do it? One, because system would have access to different signals that you as human would never think of. Okay, so if we let the system decide what the bid is, that is something that is called as smart bidding strategies. So smart bidding helps you or your campaign taking care of the bids part. And as we discussed before, like bidding by objective or even bidding by marketing fund, if your bidding is impressions, your objective is impressions, drive impressions, and you're in the awareness phase, you might use a bid strategy called as target impression share, which means you want to maximize your impression share. If your objective is clicks, just consideration, then the bid strategy that you would go for would be maximize clicks. If your objective is to drive sales, would be either action or loyalty, you would use maximize conversions, target CPA, target ROAS, or ECPs. Now the difference is you use maximize conversions if you are given a budget, let's say 100 rupees, and you have to drive maximum sales within that 100 rupees. You use target CPA if you say that I would not want to pay more than 20 rupees for a conversion. So in that case, the system would try to get you maximum conversions within that goal. You use target ROAS, which is return on ad spend, largely used by retailers, which is ROAS is your conversion value by cost. Let's say you say that for every order value, like for every 100 rupees that I generate as a revenue, I do not want to spend more than 20 rupees. So in that case, your ROAS would be 100 by 20, which is 5:1. So you set the ROAS value as 5, and then that is how system would optimize towards your campaigns. And finally, ECPC or enhanced cost per click, which is a semi-automated bid strategy in which you have both a manual control as well as you let system play around with your bids. For example, if I'm bidding 100 rupees on a term or a keyword, let's say a laptop as a term, and there is an option in which system feel that if I had bid 120, I would have won that auction and that customer would have converted on that term. Because let's say that customer had already visited my page. So in that case, you give Google the flexibility to bid 120 instead of 100 that you had set as a bid. Got it? So ECPC is like a semi-automated bid strategy wherein you decide the base bid, but you also give system the flexibility to bid higher in case they feel that there is an option in which you might win if you had bid higher. Right? And lastly, the most important concept of automation is dynamic search ads, which is actually the future of ads. Uh, One of my favorite products. So this is basically you as an advertiser, you don't create ads. You do not create ads. You only provide the description of the ad copy. And then you give the landing page that you want to target. Based on the content of your landing page, Google automatically creates an ad and the final URL to which it will take the user. So whenever someone types in a query and the query or the content is available on your web page, your DSA or dynamic search ads automatically gets triggered and it gets displayed in front of the user. Okay, so it lets you save a lot of effort. You need not type any keywords. There is no match type. You don't mention any keywords. You don't write headlines. Everything is taken care of by the system. You just tell them this is the page that I want to target. Now you decide what ads you want to create and then show it into the users. And these are called dynamic search ads. I've seen a lot of advertisers using it, especially the content-based advertisers. So for example, if I'm a streaming platform like Netflix and I have different shows and I keep getting new shows every time, it is difficult for me to create an ad for a new show every time. What I would do is I would just specify a URL so that any content that is available on that page, Google is able to index it, crawl it, and create ad automatically based on the content that is present on that page. Because I'll have so many shows keep coming in and then so many shows going out. So it will automatically create ads based on what content is available on that particular page. Right? Finally, closing it off with two other concepts. One is your opti score. Sometimes it launch, sometimes last. So this is available in the tab of Google's platform, which is basically it helps you in understanding what is the health of your account across different parameters. Bids and budgets, keywords and targeting, ads and extensions. It helps you in optimizing your account as per the Google's best practices. So if we feel that there are certain campaigns eligible for using smart bidding, it gives you that suggestion. So you get a rating out of 100. The more you are close to 100, the better your health of the account is. If Google thinks that you need to bid low on certain terms, it will call that out here and you'll get a negative for that. Once you fix it, you'll get the points for it. So it is like your scorecard, account scorecard. So remember it, like you'll get 2-3 questions around Opti score. It's called optimization score. Nothing but a scorecard of your account across 4 parameters: bids and budgets, keywords and targeting, ads and extensions, and repairs. And finally, Performance Planner, which is a recently launched forecasting tool in Google Ads, which helps you in forecasting what your monthly, quarterly, and annually budgets should be for a given campaign. And it also tells you if you change the CPA targets, what is the expected number of conversions and what is the expected spend that you would have. This is the targets that you give, whether it is CPA, clicks, ROAS, or anything. So it helps you in, it is a forecasting tool. And it does all this forecasting using machine learning. You feed in the inputs and it tells you like what is the expected conversions, revenue, clicks that you can get if you use these features. And we've come towards the end of it. I know we rushed through a few things. Do you have any questions on the things that we discussed in today's session? Okay. The 4 parameters of Opti score are bids and budgets. I'll showcase that slide again. Keywords and targeting, ads and extensions, and repairs. And even in these 4 things, like for example, bids and budgets deals with if your bids are set right, if you're using smart bidding as per the objective of the campaign, if your budgets are set in right, your keywords and targeting talks about are your keywords in place, your keywords quality score is bad, or are you missing out on any important keywords? Your targeting is your audiences. Are you using the right kind of audiences for your campaigns? Ads and extensions again. Are you using 3 to 5 ads? Are you using responsive search ads? Are you not using extensions? What kind of extensions can you add to make your ad copy better? And repairs is a very minor component which largely deals with have you taken care of the hygiene stuff? Like, do you have ad group without keywords? Or do you have campaign wherein you have no ad groups? Or do you have conflicting keywords? So all those things come into pairs. Any other questions? If there are no questions, Vanchika, can I go ahead with my 4 questions?
Sure, no problem. I'll launch the questions then.
Okay.
The poll has been launched. I think people can see the questions now.
Perfect.
There are 4 questions, so I request everyone to answer these.
While you're answering these 4 questions, another reminder, like we still have time. Do you have any questions for me? Have we got the responses?
No, right now only 16 people have answered out of 37. I would request everyone to hurry up. Guys, I'll be closing the poll in another 10 seconds. Request you to do that. Let's close the poll and let's share the results. Can everyone?
Vanchika, can you read out the results because I'm not able to see the results?
Okay. For the first question, how will you help the client in improving their ad rank? 55% have answered to improve at quality and increase hits.
Perfect. So that is the right answer, folks. So all of those who answered that, good job. So like we discussed, ad rank is your quality score into bits. So as soon as you improve your ad quality and you increase your bits, your ad rank would go higher.
And for the second
Second
question,
question.
who will get the credit as per the first touch attribution? 79% have answered campaign A.
Perfect. This is again the right answer because in the path A, B, C, D, for the first touch attribution, that means you're giving the entire credit to the first channel. So campaign A is the right answer.
For the third question, who will get the credit as per the last touch attribution? 86 have answered campaign D.
Which is again right. So like unlike first touch wherein campaign A got the credit, in last touch campaign D would get the entire credit. Last question.
Who will get 10% credit as per the linear attribution? 41% have answered none of the above.
Yes, so I think people who answered none of the above, they are right. None of the campaign would get 10% credit because in linear, everyone gets equal credit, which in this case would be 25%. So A, B, C, D, all of them gets 25%. So none of them get 10% credit. So kudos to you. I think majority of you answered all the questions right, which gives me a hope that all of you would clear your SEM certification before when we meet next for the display module. Thank you so much, and thanks for bearing with me even when the voice was cracking. I hope you found the session helpful. I hope I was able to guide you in a decent enough direction for the SEM certification. We'll definitely share the slides, Preeti. I'll also suggest you folks to go through the content on the Google page so that you don't miss out on anything and you have everything covered before you appear for the certification, right? You can even deprioritize attribution if you are not comfortable with it because there are very less questions around it for the certification, but definitely focus on the other 4 A's.
Thanks a lot, Ishan. Thank you everyone for attending. I'll just launch an end session feedback poll. Please do give your feedback. And I hope to see all of you certified with Google AdWords. Please rate on the following poll. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye. Have
Ishan.
a great
Bye.
day.